Amin, your word is oddball.
What's the country of origin, please?
Country of origin is American English colloquial.
Definition?
Definition, a strange or eccentric person.
Could you use it in a sentence?
She wore a green wig, and it wasn't even Halloween. What an oddball.
Oddball. Oddball.
I'm sorry, that is not correct. And winner of this year's Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Okay, we'll do the little Harden stuff. Okay, what happened?
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of.
Russell Westbrook just found out that James Harden is coming to the Clippers.
Russ, baby boy, your best friend's coming home. You're from LA. He's from LA. You guys played together in Oklahoma City. You went to the finals. The best basketball of your life was played alongside that guy. Joel Embiid wants James Harden to stay in Philadelphia.
I think that's a 3. I think he probably doesn't want the headache of James Harden, but he probably wants James Harden, when he is as good a player as he can be, to be there to help him win a championship, even though it didn't work last year.
James Harden won't play anywhere this season.
That's very spicy.
You know?
I think that's extremely spicy.
It's on the bold list.
Okay, well, I think that's like an 11. I would be shocked if he doesn't play anywhere.
So we got a little bit of mileage out of James Harden over here at Oddball, huh, Charlotte?
We sure did. I mean, it's been a fun offseason.
Dude, something had to carry us from July at Summer League all the way until now. And for that, we salute you, James Harden. And you know who else is saluting him? It's his Clipper teammates. He was in town yesterday, Charlotte. You saw him walk in the locker rooms. Take a look at this clip. Oh, yeah, look at that. This guy's excited, isn't he?
Here's my question, though. I mean, do we think they were saluting him? Do you think he and Russ had seen each other prior to this, or was this the first time they're seeing each other? Because Russ looked less than thrilled.
I don't know. Maybe that's just Russ. Maybe it's Russ in game mode. Maybe it's Russ realizing, shit, I got to get 2 more titanium iPhones. Does he get that back from Marcus Morris and the other guys? Like, hey, Rocco, come here. Give me the phone. Give me the phone.
Well, this is why this is especially funny, I mean, because if you saw in that video, James Harden has 3 phones in his pocket already.
Sure does.
So does Russ give him a titanium iPhone to add to his collection? And why would you need 4? What could you use 4 for?
Here's my theory. That's him. He'd already collected from Rocco, Batum, and Marcus Morris. Like, hey, bring them over here. Put them all in his pocket. Say, Russ, I got your phones. I got them for you. You don't have to even do anything. The Clippers played a game, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
How'd that go?
They won 118-102 behind 27.7 rebounds, 7 assists for Paul George, and 18 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds for Russell Westbrook. Obviously, Harden didn't play, but he's going to be active here pretty soon. Charlotte, how optimistic are you that they're going to figure it out? There
Not
you go.
Very.
There it is.
I said this yesterday. I don't understand why they think it's going to work with Russ and Harden when it hasn't worked twice in the past. Yeah, at their prime, when they weren't 34 and sad.
We're building a new supercut right here of just us scoffing at the idea that this could work. So that when it does work, we're like, what? We got a lot of content out of this here at Oddball.
I'm just grateful to James more than anything, to be honest.
You know who else I'm grateful to?
Who?
Slenderman. Oh, my God. There should be a law against having someone that tall wearing a costume. Just terrifying. It's the first truly scary Halloween costume I saw all year long.
Well, my question, I mean, is do we think he knew what Slenderman was? I tweeted this, and I was like, I like to imagine that some American had to say, hey, everybody says you look like this creepy guy from a horror movie, Slenderman. You should be it. And that they had to deliver that news while also not offending Wemby. So I tweeted this, and then a bunch of French people are really mad at me in my mentions. They're like, oh, we have the internet over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sorry, I don't know. I probably need someone to explain Slenderman to me. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Jessica Smetana of the Dan Lebitard Show and of Golik and Smetty seems to think that Slenderman is, quote, a big deal in France. I don't.
Yeah, well, I think she's right, given how mad the French people got at me.
No, look, if they said, hey, we have the internet, those aren't the words of someone who's like, yo, he's actually a huge deal here. That's, oh, I have Google, right? That's what they're saying, basically. Like, oh, I got YouTube. I've seen clips. I know what the deal is. So I'm inclined to believe that he's not that big of a deal. You know where he is a big deal, though? Slenderman.
Where?
On NBA basketball courts on Halloween, because this MFer here, whoo, what a game last night as the Spurs beat the Suns 115 to 114. Wembanyama, 18 points, 8 rebounds, including the not go-ahead dunk, but the dunk that brought them back down by 1, which allowed Keldon Johnson to get a big steal off of Kevin Durant and score at the rim to go ahead and win. It should be noted, obviously, Bradley Beal didn't play, Devin Booker didn't play, but still, this is a big win for the Spurs, no?
Yeah, well, I wanted to know your take. Because in the beginning of the game, they looked like the baby Spurs. They looked like giraffes. They weren't fully sure how to shoot a basketball. And then this happens, and they come back and win. And I know that you've said, since Wemby was on the Spurs, that this is a building year.
Yes.
That they're not going to be great to start.
They're not going to be good
Has
to start.
this game changed your main?
Main.
Has this game
just
changed
go
your
into an
mind
Irish accent.
at
Has this
all?
changed your mind? It has. It has not. Alas, lassie, it has not changed my mind.
Why not? Tell me why.
Wow, I thought mine was bad. I've
been practicing a Scottish
I
accent,
think
but I
this is a character building win, right? Like, hey guys, if we stick together and we keep fighting, we can accomplish all things. But also, I mean, it should be noted, with the Suns up 1, Durant drove, got helped on, and threw the ball to the corner to Watanabe with an open shot. Like, in a regular scenario, that's either Devin Booker or Bradley Beal, right?
Right.
If it's Watanabe, it's an even more open shot if Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are on the floor. I'm not making excuses. They lost the game. And that was a pretty embarrassing turnover by Durant at the end, where he just kind of got grown man and got the ball ripped away from him and a score at the rim. But the reality is, it changes a lot of the math. And so if you play that game again, and they'll play that game again 3 more times, the outcome is probably not going to be that. The Spurs aren't playing for wins and losses. They're playing to basically figure out what they have. Well, I talked to Michael C. Wright, who is a great columnist over at NBA.com. He lives in San Antonio. He's covered the Spurs as a beat writer in the past, so he's very plugged in the organization. And he's saying, like, Pop's not running stuff for him. This is on purpose. They're just letting them run out there and to see what we got. See what we got. They're in kind of just data collection mode right now before they start actually formulating a progress plan for him. So all of this stuff is nice. I'll remind you also, last year the Spurs started somewhat decent, and Stugatz of the Dan Lebitard Show called them Coach of the Year and stuff, and then they lost something like 20 of their next 25 games. So take it with a grain of salt. It's the first week of the season.
I like that Pop called a timeout when they hadn't even played a minute of the game. He was like, no, we are not starting off like this.
That's all like theatrics. That's not real. Oh, we did the timeout right now, guys. I'm coaching.
You know what else I like to mean?
What?
I like Bradley Beal sitting courtside wearing a hoodie with like these scary pumpkins on it. And imagining Durant looking at him being like, you are the scary pumpkin, my dude. Can you please get out here? I need some help.
Yeah, pumpkins are a real sensitive issue. Because the pumpkin is the word I use every time you get a guy who has a great game and then he goes back to being bad. And then he turned back into a pumpkin. So, scary pumpkin, I can see why Durant would be scared by that.
All right.
All right, what do we got next?
Is it Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
You know what that means?
It means get them dukes up. Word count. Next. Okay, we're going to play word count. It's the game where we ask each other questions and we got to answer in 10 words or less. Charlotte, are you ready?
Never been more ready in my life, I mean.
By the way, how will they know when you've reached 10 words, Charlotte?
Oh, I put my hands up and
Pause
I count on my hands.
Yeah.
How many words I've
Don't
said.
alternate.
Yeah.
Don't you dare alternate.
No.
No.
Alternate.
No. Well, this is a Christian household.
Neither of us are Christian, so.
Neither of us are Christian. Jokic recorded his 107th triple-double and is now tied with LeBron James and Jason Kidd. Can you see him surpassing Russell Westbrook, currently the leader with 198, to become the all-time leading triple-double getter? And who do you think cares more about being surpassed, LeBron or Russ?
Yes. I absolutely can. Oh, shoot. Yes. I'm starting over. Yes. Russ cares more because it's all he has. Is that too?
Wow.
Do you not think? Do you not think Jokic can surpass Russ?
I like the as the word. So he's got 107. Russ has 198 and counting. I think that's the big issue here is that Russ is still a threat to continue to add to his totals. And I think the more Jokic kind of closes in on that number, the more Russell Westbrook will be driven to just maybe put a little breathing room for him.
That's a great point also, though it does prove my point that Russ cares more.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, you ready?
I am.
How will Harden playing with Kawhi, Russ, Paul George, and Terrence Mann, of course, be different than Harden playing with Kyrie and Durant in Brooklyn?
All right, first of all, it's the untouchable Terrence Mann. Make sure you say his full name at all times. Home cooking. Being back in LA, also humbled by Philly.
Do you think he was humbled? Do you actually think James Harden was humbled?
I don't think he was humbled by the experience in Philadelphia. I think the backlash and the outbursts or whatever by the public, by the greater basketball media community, and not really a whole lot of players jumping at his defense. I think that's a maybe not a wake-up call, but like a snooze button maybe. Like it was like, okay, all right. Like I think he's very aware that the pressure is on him to make it work, right? As opposed to kind of like, oh man, whatever, like in Brooklyn, when he left Houston, it was because whatever, guys leave teams all the time. When he left Brooklyn, it was, well, this is a shit show. Kyrie's off on, doing weird errands. Durant's hurt all the time. But leaving Philly, everyone's like, all right, dude, what's the deal? So now I think he's got some element of, all right, I can't just bail on this so soon. I've got to make it work. Will it work? That's a different question.
Will it work?
Will it work?
The story of James Harden. All right, I'm ready.
It's the Battle of LA tonight, Charlotte. Clippers versus Lakers. Who has more to lose and why?
Lakers, because expectations, they could be good. Clippers hurt constantly. I think I did a bad job. But what I mean is that the Lakers, I think, have more of a chance to be good just because everybody keeps qualifying the Clippers as if they're healthy, if this works. I feel like the James Harden of it all also adds an element of like, well, maybe this isn't going to work. So no one's really expecting that much from them. Whereas the Lakers, LeBron's still great. Can AD step up?
Charlotte, do you have any siblings?
No.
When you have a little brother or little sister and you are engaged in competition, the game for them is the Super Bowl. Like, this is everything. This is everything on the line. Whereas as the older sibling, you get to be like, I wasn't even trying. Like, you get to do that all the time. And so the Clippers traditionally over the last few years, basically since Kawhi and Paul George got there, they play really hard against the Lakers. They try really hard because they're always trying to prove that they are peers. And the Lakers are like, if they win, they're like, ha, you'll always be the Clippers. And when the Lakers lose, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. I wasn't even trying. That is the magic of being the older sibling. And I've experienced this on both ends because I'm a middle child. So I know what it's like to be the younger sibling. I know what it's like to be the older sibling.
You don't think the older sibling has anything to lose if the younger sibling beats them?
Not in a regular season game. Because you just say, I wasn't trying. I didn't care. Like, oh, whatever. Oh, you were trying? That's cute. Like, you can always explain it away as the older sibling. And because the younger sibling is trying to rise up to that level, there's always that level like, oh man, maybe he wasn't trying. Like, you just it's an amazing feeling, by the way, to just demolish everyone's accomplishments by just saying I wasn't trying.
Yeah, it sounds great. I just had to play against my imaginary friends who I didn't even like. I had imaginary friends because I thought you were supposed to, but I didn't like them.
What was one of them Slenderman? Because as I'm looking at you, that's so creepy.
Really creepy.
Yeah.
Really creepy. Okay, are you ready, Amin?
Mm-hmm.
Who looks less awkward as a basketball player, Kevin Durant or Victor Wembanyama?
Last play of last night notwithstanding, it's clearly Kevin Durant.
Yes.
He moves like a guard. He is extremely fluid. There's no part. If Kevin Durant was like 6 inches shorter, it wouldn't look out of place at all. It's what makes him so incredible to watch is that this is a 7-foot person doing things that a 6'6" guy usually does. With Wembanyama, there is a gangliness, a baby deer quality, where it's like he doesn't quite have the core strength or he's not quite sure of himself. So he has moments of looking extremely fluid, and then other moments is just like all elbows and knees. So,
right. The other costume, if he weren't Slenderman, he could have been the car salesman tube man with the. That would have been funny because then you just wear one color and you have like a bunch of spiky hair. Maybe let's do that next year, Victor.
He also could have been the Bye Bye Man. Cinephobe guys will get that one. Bye Bye Man. It's a movie. We reviewed it on Cinephobe. Charlotte, last question.
Yes.
What's the best rivalry in the NBA right now, and why? You got to know the answer to this one. Come on now.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. The best current rivalry in the NBA? You specifically,
Heat?
Charlotte Wilder.
Celtics?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no other answer. Why?
Right. Because the Celtics lost last year in 7 games, and they've played more than almost any other team. I think in the last 4 years, they've played like 21 times.
They played a lot.
They played a lot.
They played a lot.
And in the East, the Celtics are trying to get over the hump. The Heat are trying to get back to the finals. Yeah, okay. Heat Celtics. I feel like rivalries in the NBA sort of don't have the same weight as like a college football.
The road to the finals in the East has gone through either Miami or Boston, if not has gone through both Miami and Boston for the last 4 years. In 2020, Heat Celtics in the conference finals. 2021, the Bucks beat the Celtics and beat the Heat. And then 2022, Celtics, Heat in the conference finals. And then last year, Celtics, Heat in the conference finals. There's no other team, like you said, that's played that many times, regular season and playoffs. I don't know. I don't even know what the other option would be. Would it be?
Well, also especially because neither of them have won the finals.
That doesn't matter right now. What matters is them, the rivalry with
But I mean, that's why it's such a good rivalry because they're like they both really want it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All righty, ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Kings and Warriors again tonight. Which team is more exciting to watch?
By the way, Kings Warriors in a couple of years, maybe that's going to be an answer on that list because they've got a little thing going, particularly because it's a geographic thing. But for me, it's still those damn Golden State Warriors.
Those pesky Warriors.
I really enjoy, there's two things I enjoy. One is playing basketball, quote unquote, the right way. This is a Larry Brown saying, we play the right way, which is ball movement, body movement. Nobody dominates the ball, and all in synchronicity. Every cut is a live cut. That's Golden State, the way they play. They play perfect basketball to me. It's not pick and roll heavy. It's not ISO heavy as some of the other teams. I'm not saying those styles aren't effective. I'm just saying aesthetically, it's very pleasing to watch. The whole idea of like, you think someone's being guarded over here, you turn around again, and that person isn't there anymore. And then central to all of that, it's Steph Curry. It's just watching the game bend to his will. I don't know if you watched that game against New Orleans the other night. That first quarter was ridiculous. And I was watching the game. My father's like, sometimes I don't think he's actually shooting it. Sometimes I think there's like a magnet in the ball and he's just throwing it up there and it go, because there's no way.
I've said that before, Amin. Tell your dad I've said the magnet
There
thing.
you go.
The NBA is rigged for money. Ayesha Curry. Sorry. I'm kidding. It's not.
It's rigged for money, Ayesha Curry. I like that. That's the cultural touch point. But yeah, man, like this idea that this guy can control the game pretty much with his mind, and that when he runs in a direction, it creates such a hubbub that everybody else, he doesn't even need to touch the ball. Just him moving in a direction will create opportunities for other people. Golden State is too fun for me. I don't know. I mean, the Kings are fun too. I think that's not a fair comparison.
I'm with you. Also, De'Aaron Fox is out tonight with a sprained ankle, so it makes the answer a lot easier for this particular matchup. And folks, that has been Word Count Wednesday. Thanks for watching and playing along. All right, Amin, since June, there have been people speculating about whether Zach Lavine of the Chicago Bulls would end up with the Heat. In light of the Bulls sort of being a hot mess, people have started talking about this again. A, do you see this happening? B, do you think it would make the Heat better?
Yeah, it's funny. You go from like Damian Lillard to Bradley Beal to Zach Lavine. I don't know. Zach Lavine strikes me as kind of like a rich man's Tyler Herro.
A rich man? Why?
He's a little bigger. He's a lot more athletic, but it's still the same kind of player in terms of volume scoring and not as much regard for the defensive end. As far as an improvement, yes, he's an improvement. Tangible improvement, I don't know. I think one of the things we got to figure out with the Miami Heat is, we got to wait for Caleb Martin to get healthy and kind of figure out how they are defensively, because right now, starting Kevin Love, Tyler Herro, and Kyle Lowry is not a recipe for defensive stalwartness. And then B, figuring out whether this offense is the offense that we saw 2 years ago that was number one in three-point shooting and a top 5 offense in the league, or is it last year's offense that struggled mightily because he couldn't make threes? So if it is like last year where the struggle to create points and point opportunities is still rather great, I think maybe you do start to explore a Zach Lavine situation. At the same time, this shit ain't for everybody. Like, this Heat culture stuff is not for everybody. And I don't know if Zach Lavine is ready for that kind of rude awakening. He's kind of had it nice in Chicago. They treat him nice. You know, they listen to him. They let him do what he wants. Him and Billy Donovan have had some frictions in the past because Billy wants him to play a certain way and Zach doesn't like it. Look, if you think Billy's tough, you don't want to meet Spo. But then again, maybe he'll listen to Spo because Spo has bona fides that Billy Donovan doesn't.
So what you're saying is Zach Lavine might not have that dog.
Not the kind of dog they like down here. And I think it's fair. It's only fair to give Zach Lavine the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, maybe he doesn't like listening to Billy Donovan because he doesn't respect Billy Donovan, or he doesn't see eye to eye with what Billy Donovan wants him to do in a way that would not translate over would he to come to Miami. Like if it's Spo saying it, then he would be more willing to listen or more willing to acquiesce.
A rich person more than Tyler Herro. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
You were saying?